This week in comic books, DC proves that it's never been to a gay pride parade. Uh, a guy running around in his underwear with a cape on pursuing other boys. It was supposed to be shocking. That happened to Tim Drake. Apparently. I don't know. Over in the land of Marvel, Hard Drive hits this week, and oh lord, it is more sophisticated than I think people are giving it credit for. And we're going to touch on a few things in there, see if I can't convince you to read it. Speaking of convincing you to read things, in the land of independence, we had White number 2 come out, and we had Delta Dogs number 16. I want to do a side-by-side comparison of these two stories. And let's throw it out there. Let's see which one sounds the better after a review. Let's give the little guy a chance out there, because Delta Dogs, I'm coming in biased. Like I'm not being objective about this. I'm coming in biased. So definitely all that and a lot more comic books right after this intro. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? I'm Pocan Joe, and as always, you're pretty cool for coming by. So we're going to run through this week's comic book haul and review as fast as we can, show you a few things, see what you think of it. I'm a middle-aged man, and this is my highly subjective review of this stuff. So definitely comment down below. What did you pick up this week? What did you read? More importantly, what did you think of it? Let's jump right into it with DC Urban Legends. So we dive into this. Hey, Justin Todd, Batman, bro it out. Well, they don't. They just shake hands. And the psychiatrist kind of pointed that out too. But hey, that's their relationship. That's in the beginning of it. They're trying to mend those wounds. Jason Todd decides that he does not want to kill people anymore, even though he does believe people need to exit this earth with lead injections. He doesn't want to be the guy that does it anymore. And Batman can respect it, but Jason Todd doesn't want to do it because of what Batman thinks of it. He's his own guy. Also, Tim Drake in this decides that, he may want to pursue a relationship with another young man. Now, I know I joked at the beginning of the show. I don't really care who you sleep with. I don't particularly care. I want an action story. I don't want to read about young people in love. I'm not a romance novel reader. Sexuality and romance in a story doesn't really interest me. Usually use it to push some sort of call to the heroic arms, like the save of the princess or prince or whatever your thing is. But I if this becomes like a love interest story, I'm not interested in that. That's just fair, I think. Black Canary infiltrates an organization that used to be secret, but not secret anymore. That's how they got past of Leviathan destroying everything. But her family's been a member of this particular organization for a very long time. And they're recruiting her to do some Kung Fu girl stuff with Deathstroke. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. But all in all, it was a good book. It was a good read, good stuff. Moving. Detective Comics is hitting on all cylinders, and man, right when I think I'm getting tired of Future State stuff, Detective Comic pops off with another great issue, and that's what they did this week. This is interesting. We're still kind of going down that who's doing the parasite thing. Of course, it can't be the guy named Vile. Like, you would think these detectives would be like, I know this is a long shot, but his last name's Vile. Maybe we should look. It doesn't matter. Nobody can find him anyway because some scientists have captured him, and they've weaponized whatever it is that the parasite, the bacterium, whatever it is that he infects people with. They've captured it, and they've also made Batman a zombie because can't get enough of our zombies. That's almost becoming a trope now as well, to some degree, I guess. Also, Batman gets called into the Kangaroo Court with Penguin, villains, and Mr. Worth. And I say Kangaroo Court because this is, if I had to picture, like I know the definition of a Kangaroo Court and its slang terminology, but if I had to draw pictures of it using superheroes and villains, that's how I would have pictured it. Right? Like, doesn't really matter doesn't matter what facts or logic you want to have or evidence. This is how I feel, so you're guilty. Court of public opinion. When all the opinions are from villains. Another analogy would be democracy's great until everybody votes to take your wallet. Right? Then all of a sudden democracy's not that great. It's kind of the course here. Alright. Batman 89. Hey, all you cats out there, this is a huge memory pill. We got Calrissian rolling up in here. I can't never remember that guy's name. This is my third take of this video. I'm not even kidding. I've been having sound issues. And I still cannot remember Harvey Dent's actor's name in here. That's embarrassing. If you know, please comment down below. It's going to drive me crazy. I'm making you responsible for my mental health. Somebody help me. I remember he used to be in the Schlitz malt liquor commercials way back in the day. He was Calrissian, and he was Harvey Dent. Anyway, they're going to chase us down the Harvey Dent route, and I got a feeling they're going to do this. He's not really a villain. He's just misunderstood, kind of like what they did with Hook, Maleficent. What was the lady with the dogs? Cruella de Vil. You know, they're not villains. They're just victims of their environment that made them bad. I think they're going to go down that route with this. I hope they don't, because that's really just a cheap storytelling of reimagination with no imagination or creativity. It's just simple. And highly predictable. But Harvey Dent's got a problem with Batman in this, which we kind of already knew from the movie. All right, Infinite Frontier, number 4. I don't understand this. Like, right when I think I have a grasp on how the universe here works, and I'm saying universe as in the storytelling of it, something happens in this that just doesn't make any sense to me. We have people that want to stop major crises happening all over the multi-universe by working with people from all over the multiverse, creating small crises like, kidnapping people. That's a thing, I guess. We have a bunch of teams clashing together. We have a Black Lantern. Speedy's in this. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not overly interested in a Black Lantern that turns into a zombie and has power. Like, that's just kind of, I don't know. Like, space zombies. I don't know. But the cool thing is we kind of get a flash at this other team. And I'm pretty sure it's an original team. I would have to do a little bit more research into it. But it's a type of Injustice team. But I'm not familiar with this character. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. And a couple of these other things. Like, obviously, that's a speedster Joker. I have no idea what the rest of this is. So maybe some new character. It's a cameo, which means it's worth millions. I'm moving on. Joker should be called Yo-Yo. Jim Gordon goes to get Joker, right? I'm going to go capture you, Joker. So he goes, he hunts him down, he finds him, captures him, even has him tied up at some point. And then for some reason they're in France and he escapes, and now he's got to do it. Well, he goes to France to find him again. And he's got to do it. So this is just going back and forth. But he ends up getting arrested by Interpol because apparently his DNA has been splattered all over giggity, all over a crime scene. And of course the Joker knows about it because it's a setup. And our super smart detective lady, she kind of had that suspicion anyway. But they're going to go have a talk. Whatever. All right, moving on. Pennyworth came out. If you like James Bond stories, especially older James Bond stories, you may like this. But this whole story takes place where we're dealing with the 3 phases of Alfred's life here. As a young boy, where his dad was a butler, when he was an agent in MI6, and in his older age as a butler, he's tied up in a cell. And various lessons and things and little tidbits of information that kind of give us a broader character of Alfred beyond just being a butler. He's dead. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. So why is this interesting? Well, in order to maintain copyrights, you have to maintain the character. If you kill off a character, you still have to do something with them every so often to maintain the copyrights of them. Because if you don't use it, it goes into public domain. At least that's what I'm guessing. Because the story reads like a movie script. A bad one. Alright. Gotham City. Or Gotham, Future State. So this is, they're still doing the manga thing in here, which is pretty cool, right? Like, I lived in Korea for 2.5 years. I shouldn't say lived there. I was stationed there, I think is the best term. And I tried to get into manga, and I really couldn't get into it. But for some reason, I'm liking this. And I've been liking this since, what issue are we on here? 4. I've been liking this since 1. I don't know if my taste has just changed or whatever, but I love this I'm not going to spend a lot of time detailing the background or detailing things that don't matter. I'm going to give you spreads like that. Like literally, that is great splash paging. Oh my god. We also get a first appearance of Panic Hunter in here, a new character. We'll see what they do with him. So basically, we got Panic Hunter, Harley Quinn, and Punchline all battling it out, and we also get a snippet of things to come, I think, because apparently there was a Joker War #2. Right? We've already seen Joker War #1, but Punchline makes a reference to Joker War 2 in here. Will that be something future? Something that's going to happen future down the road? I kind of hope so. I kind of wanted to revisit the Joker War thing. I think we could have done a better job on that one. Just saying. All right, next, Hardwire came out. If you don't remember Hardwire, don't feel bad. This comic book came out for like a hot minute back in the day, and then it just kind of faded, right? And then they tried to bring it back every now and then. But this is one I think will stick. I think this one will resonate. I like what they're doing in here. Yes, they're playing to this new racial trope now that's being played in comic books, and that's fine. It's a trope. You should use tropes if you're having a hard time narrating your story. So they can do it. But what's interesting in here is this concept that there was this white businessman who supported Hardwire back when he was younger. Made sure he went to the best colleges, had everything he needed, and then one day gave him a job at his own company so they could do great things. So it would be double folded. And then when he feels betrayed by him because of something nefarious that happened and tried to throw Hardwire under the bus for it, like he rebelled against it, and the white guy's like, "How dare you? Everything I've done for you," right? And this is a fallacy, right? It's all or nothing fallacy. Or no, I'm sorry, do good, receive good fallacy. Just because you do something good doesn't mean you're always going to get something good in return. And it shouldn't be the reason why you do good in the first place, right? You should do good to promote good. Not because you're going to get something back because now it's not good anymore. You should just do it. Anyway, I'm trying not to go down a rabbit hole this week. But it's a great fallacy, and it really gets explored in here. And I really enjoyed that portion of it. That's what I focused in on. And plus all the cool stuff that he can do now, and the system reboots, and the relationship of calling his computer Pop after his father. Good stuff. I enjoyed that. I would definitely recommend it. All right, Justice League, Last Ride. So everybody's going to come destroy the Justice League because they're trying to restart Apocalypse after they shut it down, because they have to do it just for the most weirdest reason ever, and I don't know if I still understand it, so I'm not going to review that part of it. But we get Lobo playing word salad games in here. That it sounds like logic, but I'm just not feeling it. It should be different. You actually see Flash in here kind of like, that sounds right, but I'm not thinking it is. That was kind of funny. It's a great example of using a logic fallacy. Logic fallacy with sprinkled word salad in it is really what he's doing. We also get a lot of great villains in this that are kind of popping in. Some you may recognize, some you may not. But more importantly, DC's really hitting it hard with the memory pills this week as Superman, Cyborg comes popping off, ready to do some damage. That should be good. Moving into, that's right, Challenge of the Super Stunts. This was probably the worst issue yet. I have a problem with this issue. All right, so Aquaman, right? Everybody knows what a superpower is, right? Kind of vague, like controlling ocean currents, waves, stuff like that, right? But his main shtick, if you will, is being able to talk to aquatic animals. Like he does the old cartoon, the little would happen, right? And he was able to talk to crabs and horseshoes and dolphins and shit, which he shouldn't have been able to talk to dolphins because that's really a mammal. But that happened. Anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole. So in this one, the mysterious thing that's going to come kill Aquaman and the Super Sons have to save him secretly because you got to throw a plot device in there, and that's your plot point, is a giant octopus, or kraken, if you will. So I'm thinking, why do they have to save Aquaman? Literally, he should be just turn around and be like, "Stop, octopus! It's me, Aquaman. Well, go to sleep." Whatever it is he does. I hate that character. Right? Can't do that, right? You gotta save him, so they save him. in a pretty whimsical way. I enjoyed it. But they think that the next person or people that are going to pop up on the scroll is, of course, their fathers, right? Come to find out, it's actually them. So the rules are you got to save them without them knowing, otherwise it's instant death. So how does one save themselves without knowing? Or better yet, how do two people that are together save each other without the other one knowing? Interesting concept. And I think that's where we're finally going to get some complexity to this story. So I can't wait for that. Moving into Marvel, we get Defenders 1 coming out. We got Silver Surfer, a type of nebula that I'm not familiar with. Red Harp. Oh, Black Mask. I like this. This is the one that still wears the mask that comes from Eternity's essence, right? So he can mimic the powers of whoever he fights. And Doctor Strange. This is going to play into some woo-woo, right? So we're kind of dive into the, not like the old Defenders, whose battles were pretty straightforward. Bad guy fight, magic thing did something to me, crushed, make me hurt friends, those tropes. We're kind of dealing with more of the cosmos here. And cosmos, woo-woo, and magic woo-woo, right? Tarot card reading, cosmos, putting energy out there. And we're going to kind of create our story right there in the middle of it. So it's like woo-woo by woo-woo squared. Right? I guess. If you don't know, I don't believe in tarot card readings. And I don't believe in hacking the Matrix or whatever that garbage. I don't believe in that stuff. Maybe I shouldn't call it garbage, but I personally don't believe in that stuff. But I like it when Doctor Strange and comic book characters kind of play in this realm because it adds some, not validity, but it definitely makes it a little bit more interesting than what it actually is. Yeah. Going into the 80s with Fantastic Four, this was fun. They killed Johnny Blaze in it because you had to. I love the reference to the Star Wars program that was in here. Reagan approved it. It was actually Reed's idea to fight Galactus, but the missiles were pointing in the wrong direction, says one guy. They need to be pointed at the Soviet Union. This was an actual thing at one point. If you're not familiar with the Star Wars program, it was kind of like this super highly sophisticated missile system that we were going to put in space. I don't actually ever think it came through, to be honest with you. I think it failed. But regardless, so that happens in here. Come to find out, it was all a plot by this mad thinker guy to try to get the two countries to blow up pretty much the majority of the world because it's easier to rule over a few than a lot. That's some deep thinking there, by the way, by an insane man. Plan fails. Dr. Doom has him now caged up and over in his country, Leviathan, whatever it's called, his weird European trash country. Probably the same place Baron Zemo comes from. All right, so as promised before, let me preface it before we compare these two comic books. I love both these comics. I think they're good reads. So when you take two great things and now you have to make it which one's better, that can be a little difficult. I'll make this simple for you. Delta Dogs. Delta Dogs is a better read. It's a good read, right? It's playing off this racial trope that we talked about earlier. It's got to be the white guys. They got to be racist. The black people have to be the superheroes in it because it's their time to shine. I get that kind of need and want out there. I'm not going to argue it. But this is an X-Men story. This is an X-Men story. It's very similar to an X-Men story. It's almost exactly like an X-Men story to some degree. Whereas this is truly original, and I really like this. If you haven't been reading Delta Dogs, I have been nonstop talking out of my face hole about Delta Dogs to you people. Definitely check it out. You can check them on Comixology. You can go straight to Millennial Comics. You can find them there. They just had a successful GoFundMe. Looks like some exciting things are in the work. So yeah, and I want to be clear on this next point. Mr. Young, the writer of this comic book, I see him quite a bit in town. They don't give me anything to promote their book. Like, no funding. I don't pay anything. I don't even get the books for free. I pay for my books. I support their GoFundMe. I truly support this book and all 16 issues in it. And there was some, it's just like any other comic book. But even the in-between issues, as we call them, right? The transitional, those are still more exciting than a lot of the things that I read today. The whole concept of family and family having to deal with each other even when they're at odds. coming to terms with superpowers, coming to terms with maturity, having to address your own biases about things. Maybe realizing that all or nothing thinking is probably not the best type of thinking out there. It's why it's called a fallacy. A lot of these things get explored in here, and they get explored in a very fantastical way, and I really enjoy it. And every time, if you've seen my episodes, whenever I get a chance to talk about this book, I always take just a little bit longer because I truly enjoy it. Keep up the good work, guys. This stuff is good. All right, moving on to Kiss number 1. It's a Kiss story. Eccentric, recluse, billionaire takes heavy metal band to secured location on a secret island, on a secret base, secret. They think it's a normal gig. Come to find out, he's an evil genius scientist. He wants to find out what their superpowers are. Come to find out they have superpowers. Godzilla steps on them. And it was great. As silly as that sounded, it's great. Right? And it's just fun. And plus, I mean, that's kind of a cool cover. I like that cover. It's pretty cool. It's like rockin' Japan. Okay. Moving on to Ordinary Gods. I like this. Our hero in this one, come to find out, he was Stalin in a past life. So that might be problematic. I'm sure there's a good reason why he was. And it was a twist on how they even showed it to us. So I enjoyed that. We got some more of the rules of these, of how Earth is a prison and how they're stayed here, and who's actually guard keeping over this whole thing, and how it can be activated to actually start killing people like his sister did in it. Killed the entire family. This is interesting. I hope it stays interesting because I'm really intrigued with where this story can go. So definitely one of the better reads this week. All right, guys, that's all I got. Hey, thanks for swinging by. Appreciate having you here. What did you pick up this week? More importantly, what did you think of it after you read it? Also, don't forget Blaster Stash at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. Myself, Huey's Comics, Spectacular Spider Grandpa. We're all going to sit in a chat, and we're going to have some comic book talk. I'm probably going to drink too much, but that's okay. That happens. You're more than welcome to come by. Check us out at Blaster Stash It. Bring in a cold beverage with you, and tell us what books you got, and let's all talk about our comic books together, because that is fun, and I enjoy doing that. All right, guys, I got nothing else. I got to go carve out some stone for the Thor project that's coming up, so I'll see you guys next week. Bye.